Papa Renzulli. Back at it again with another video. Today we're going to be playing Black Ops 3. As you can definitely tell by what's on the screen, something that I would like to bring up is the fact that I've been doing a lot of thinking and watching, I've watched a couple of new movies, and I kind of wanted to discuss them with you guys and just kind of mention what I noticed. So the first movie I'm gonna bring up is going to be Scream. Okay, I watched that last month, and I was very, very excited about it, but I also had like the sense of fear going into it. Fear that it was going to be bad, because a lot of times with the movies that they make, like, or they have been making, some of them end up being really bad. And so I was kind of scared, but to my surprise, from the very opening scene of the movie, I was extremely surprised with how fantastic it was. A lot of times, whenever they're making a sequel or a prequel or a requel, they try too hard to make it appealing to other people, to a new audience, and sometimes they try really hard to make it appeal to previous people, their previous audience, and it ends up ruining the movie, if that makes sense. And a good example of that would be Halloween 2018. To be honest, the Halloween 2018 was kind of like a rehash of it's like a rehash of like the original one from 1978, and like, in the sense of like when I watched it the first time, I honestly really enjoyed it. But afterwards, when I watched it a second time, I was like, it's not bad, but it's definitely not my favorite. Like, it's kind of like a rehashing of the same thing, and it kind of upset me. And then when they were making a second one, I was actually pretty excited to see Halloween Kills, and the title I think was fucking stupid. But I ended up watching that and I really liked it. There was a lot of people that didn't like it, but it wasn't like the same old. It was just him killing people. A lot of people complained and said there was like no point to it, that it was just stupid. It was just kind of pointless. But at the same time, you know, it was cool seeing him fucking kill all those people. I'm not gonna lie to you. Like, it was kind of cool to just see him go on a rampage. And that kind of set the stage for Halloween Ends. And before I watched any trailers, I was very, very, very excited to see the movie. And even like when I was walking up to the theater, I went with one of my best friends in my job in the Army, and or one of my closest friends rather. And I was like super excited to go see it. He went with me, and one other friend went with me. And from the very opening from the very second that movie started, from the opening, it was very clear to me that this was going to be a very different movie, and not in a good sense. So, what do I mean by that? So, in the opening scene of Halloween 1978, obviously no one knew what we were getting into. It was probably going to be a slasher, you know. From the opening scene, it basically showed who this killer is, and like his background, and then you know, go straight into, you know, him, you know, killing people. And I was like, you know, when I watched it, I was like, oh shit, that was pretty good, right? It was like it was an older movie though, and it was like the first of its kind. Like, and I honestly, I really fell in love with Halloween. And because the opening was simple, okay? It wasn't like, it was just identifying a character in an IP that wasn't an IP yet, if that makes sense. Like, there was no lore, there was no what's the word I'm looking for? There were no characters that were already made. There was no expectations. So it was easily able to be enjoyed. And what that caused is a really enjoyable movie that people ended up really loving. And that's a good thing. It, you know, it drew a big fan base. And then when Halloween, you know, the second Halloween 2, the original Halloween 2 came out, you know, people were also very, very, very excited. And it wasn't the best movie, but it wasn't bad, right? It didn't overstep its boundaries. It didn't overstep its boundaries and was very, very entertaining, I guess. And then it started, you know, spawning movies. You know, some of them were good, some of them were bad. I'm not going to mention any, like, I mean, you guys all have your own opinions, but, you know, certain ones were good and certain ones were bad in your opinion. It's you know, the best part of opinions. So, you know, you can judge that how you will. But it spawned like a series of events that would make a movie that, you know, people would end up loving. You know, they're like, oh, okay, I really, really enjoy this movie. This is good. And so we have now at this point, due to the movie's success and, you know, building a foundation, we have like an IP. We have Halloween, right? And it's something that people really, really like. And because it's something people really like, when a movie gets announced with that same IP, that same name, like, you know, Star Wars and Lord of the Rings, for example, as another example, you know, it's going to generate hype and make people want to watch it more. So now we have Halloween, you know, as an IP. And, you know, as the movies, you know, come along, it's like some of them are good, some of them are bad, but overall you still really love the franchise. But the way Halloween Ends opened up was focusing on a brand new character that no one knew anything about. And my main issue with this is a movie that is supposed to tie up, you know, loose ends that were, you know, kind of made apparent in the last movie. And it was advertised as a battle between Laurie and Michael. So that's what you're expecting, right? To see Michael Myers. But it introduces you to this new character, and it's stupid. It's really stupid. And it threw me off and made me really, you know, just like the movie from the beginning. Whereas Scream 6, the last movie, like each of the movies, you know, is amazing in its own right. Obviously, I'm really biased because I think the first one's the best. But, you know, each of them is perfect in their own right. And it was easier for me to be a little bit more hype on Scream because the most recent one they had made prior to this one coming out, Scream 5, was really, really well done and really entertaining. And it, like, the openings for both of these movies, the Scream 5, the opening was pretty similar to the original one. It's honestly similar to a lot of them because, you know, Ghostface is making a call and kills. But spoiler alert, there isn't actually an open kill, right? So it's like, it subverts your expectations. And it's pretty brutal, and then it introduces you to the main characters. So I'm like, oh, okay, this is awesome. Like, I'm really, really excited about this. So it made it very entertaining. Then the way this movie opened, again, I'm not going to spoil anything on this one yet until it's out on DVD, but this movie opened up in an even better way. Like, I mean, I was honestly amazed that, you know, 6 movies into this franchise, they could make an opening that had me like, bro, what? Because, like, there's something that happened in the opening of this movie that has not happened in any of the openings prior. It reveals the killer, and then guess what? Turns out that's not actually the killer. And there's so many different layers to it, and it's like, holy crap! Like, this is amazing. And like, I can't give them enough credit on how amazing that was for me. Oh my gosh. I can't give it enough credit, because at the opening of Halloween Ends, I was like, bro, this is stupid. At the opening of Halloween Kills, I was like, dude, fuck yeah. At the opening of Halloween 2018, I was also like, oh yeah. But like the opening of Halloween Ends, like I said, I was like, bro, what is this? And from that point on, I hated it even more. But the opening of Scream 6, I was like, bro, what did I just fucking watch? Like, it was something that's never happened. And I honestly, at first, thought that, you know, the unmasking of the killer that you see kill somebody, I thought that, you know, it was going to be something completely different from what we actually got. And I was okay with that. That was a welcome addition to the movie. And it made me like, oh gosh, like, this is fucking sick. Like, I was not expecting that. I love it. Now, in other senses, like, someone might be like, oh, that's really stupid. I think that it's actually really dumb that, you know, they did that. Like, why would they do that? But I'm like, people always bitch when it's like the same thing every time. But, you know, sometimes they do a really good job and make it brand new, and it's like, sometimes it's done very well, sometimes it's done distastefully, and this time it was very, very well done, and something that I am extremely glad that I got the chance to see in theaters. It was, I don't want to say perfect because that's subjective, but it really was. It was amazing. So, like I said, it was really well done. I was super excited. And, you know, sometimes throughout, what happens is, like, throughout these movies is, you'll be like, okay, you know, I already know what's gonna happen. And it's like, okay, I know what's gonna happen. You know, this isn't anything special. You know, this is stupid. The new Scream movie, the way it was done, from the second it started to the second it ended, was like a roller coaster ride. There were things that happened in the movie that I was like, okay, I didn't see that coming. Maybe some people saw it coming, you know, maybe to some people it wasn't that much of a surprise. It was honestly cheesy to some people. But for me, it was very, very, very tastefully done and entertaining. And it gave me nothing but joy. And that is something that I really look forward to when I go see a movie, is being able to be entertained all the way through. There aren't a lot of movies now that we find that it's like, that's going to happen. Unfortunately, a lot of times, like, you'll start like the movie like Halloween Ends, and they try way too hard to get you to like something, and it's like, okay, you guys are doing nothing but making me not want to watch this. You guys are thinking that, you know, I'm interested in this new character that you guys made. Like, I'm happy that you're, like, out here making new characters. Don't get that twisted, okay? Like, I'm happy that you're not just like, oh, we're just gonna use the same characters. Scream uses some of the same characters, right? But they're legacy characters. It's a little different. And what I mean by legacy characters is they're well-established characters that everybody's like, oh, I know that person. Oh, I like that person. And that is, that's okay. Like, you know, if they're legacy characters that are well-established and people already like them, dude, perfect, you know? It's characters that, you know, people care about. Like, I'd say, like, Laurie Strode was a legacy character. Laurie Strode was a character that everybody really liked. I can't even remember the sheriff's name in that movie. And it kind of upsets me. It's kind of insulting to me. Like, I mean, I know it wasn't directly directed at me, and I shouldn't take it like super personal. But like, as someone who really thoroughly enjoyed the Halloween movies and consider myself like a fan, it was kind of a big slap in the face that they kind of made it the way they did, and it was like they didn't care, you know? And that's like my problem with a lot of these movies, but Scream so far has managed to, honestly, they've upped my expectations, and it was done really well. And, you know, sometimes the killers, it's like, oh, I know who the killer is going to be. And you're like, oh, that's stupid. But you know what? It's still done, like, it's still done in, like, a tasteful way. It's still done, and it's very entertaining. Like, I absolutely love the way Scream does their killers. It's not the same person every time. Like, before I even knew anything about Scream, I used to think that Ghostface was, like, an entity, right? Not a person. An entity. Like, Michael Myers is an entity, not a person. What I mean by an entity is they're a creature, a thing. It's not a person under the mask. I mean, I guess you could argue that Michael Myers was a person, but they've sold it and made it very clear that he is not a person. He's something more. Oh shit. They've sold it and made it very clear that, hey, this is not a person. He's not a good person. He's not a real person, you know, all that kind of stuff. And, I already have Mule Kick, don't I? No, I don't. That's what I was actually trying to get.
Hey, meatbags, where you at?
I lost my train of thought. Yeah, so it's done like, I guess done tastefully and makes you care about it. Like, Michael Myers is an entity. Not like not a thing. So it's Ghostface is a person, so it's like consistently changing. You're not like, oh, here he goes again. Like, in Halloween Ends, it was kind of like, what's the word? I was kind of like, bro, this is stupid. Like, why is he still alive? A lot of people, that was like a big issue that people had. They're like, oh, I think it's stupid. Like, he shouldn't be alive. And I'm like, you know what? I mean, I kind of agree with you. Like, he definitely shouldn't have survived all that he did. He definitely shouldn't have survived all that he had been through if he was quote unquote just a man. But it wasn't something that really bothered me at the time. But I'm sitting here saying, like, I understand why people are upset about that. I really do. But Scream so far has not been, you know, that much of an issue. And Scream, you know, I really liked all of them for a while. I didn't like the fourth one. Now I've switched. I like the fourth one. I don't like the third one. But even the third one's not even that bad. Like, all of it's better than the new Halloween. I hate to say it, but that's not hard to beat anymore. It's really not. Because they kind of sold themselves on that. They made a really shitty movie. And honestly, after that, I don't want them to make another one. They did that with Nightmare on Elm Street too. When I was younger, I was scared when I saw the trailer. I really was. Now that I'm older and, you know, I watched it again and I have more of an appreciation towards horror films, it looked like shit and it was a boring movie. Like, at the end of it, I was like, that's it. That was the entire movie. I don't want to feel like that when I watch a movie. I want to be like, oh, dude, that was sick, or oh, dude, that was cool. Well, that was a glitch. Nothing spawned. Cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm sure you guys are the same way, but I think it would be better to be able to leave a movie theater and be like, okay, that was awesome. Like, I really enjoyed that. Not like, oh, dude, what did I just watch? I just wasted my time. I don't like feeling like that. And unfortunately, That's just how it is with some of these movies. I've already kind of like milked Scream and Halloween. Let's come up with another movie. Lord of the Rings. Lord of the Rings is one movie that is so fucking amazing, and I have so many memories of that. It's kind of like I'm kind of biased about it at this point. Okay, not kind of. I am biased, and it's something that, you know, some people might be like, okay, like, you know, that's not really fair if you're gonna, you know, talk about how great a movie is if you're gonna be biased. And I'm like, yeah, like I guess if I was ranking it, like, you know, it'd be nice, you know, give every movie its, you know, fair share or fair like chance. But if I watched a movie and I'm like, okay, that was awful, and I didn't enjoy it, and it's my list and it's subjective to my, you know, my opinion, you know, you have your own opinion, then let me have my opinion. We're gonna pack punch this. Like I'm pretty stubborn in my opinion when it comes to a movie. You know, some movies I should give a chance, and some movies I'm just so upset with that I don't care enough to, you know, go and like research. Which, I mean, you know, it's kind of stubborn. I should give everything a chance. You know, people still worked on it, but some actors, like I can tell you a movie right now that I'm thinking of, Everything Everywhere all at Once and Knives Out and The Menu. Those are all movies that, you know, they might be, you know, very well filmed or, you know, have good messages. Were not movies I enjoyed. Well, actually, the only one out of those that I watched was The Menu. Well, and The Black Phone. I gotta put that on there. None of those are necessarily bad movies, okay? I might not have enjoyed one of them, and the other, actually two of them, because I did watch two of those. I watched The Black Phone and I watched The Menu. I did not enjoy either of those. A lot of people did, so okay, cool. Knives Out and Everything Everywhere All at Once is probably a good movie for some people. But it's not something that I wanted to spend my time or money on. And, I mean, that's okay. That's what makes... Everybody's got an opinion. Should I give it a shot sometime? Maybe. But, I don't know. It just doesn't seem like something that I'd be interested in. So, when there's a movie like that where I'm like, oh, I don't think it's going to be that interesting, I'm not going to give it a shot. Which, you know, to some people, that might be the wrong answer, right? They might be like, you know, don't knock it till you try it. And, you know, in some cases that might be true. But... I would rather go into a movie with an idea of, you know, maybe I like it than to just watch a movie blind and going like that. So, something that I've been doing recently that I am in love with doing is, so when a new movie comes out, what I do is I stay away from trailers. Well, let me rephrase that. If there's a movie I'm excited about, I'll stay away from trailers and see if, when I go to see it, see how I like it without watching trailers. Because then a lot of times, like trailers, what they'll do is they'll, you know, show off some of the best parts of the movies or like, you know, climactic parts. And sometimes it ends up being something very, very important or something that would be shocking if, you know, you hadn't seen that. And there have been times when I watch a movie where like, oh dude, that'd be pretty scary if I didn't see that, you know? Or that'd be pretty cool if I didn't see that. But taking away that or when you're expecting something, yeah, you might be excited, but it takes away from the overall, the reaction that you would have had you have not known anything about it. Right? It takes away from that mystery, that excitement. And that, to me, ruins the fun. And really kind of just makes me, like, not excited sometimes. And I'd rather go into a movie and be excited, you know? I'd rather walk into a movie and be like, oh, this is cool. here's an example of a movie that I wasn't really like, I didn't know a whole lot about. I hadn't watched all of them. I'd watched a few of them, but I was just like, oh, I'll go see it. Jigsaw. I saw that. It was another Saw movie. I hated it. Then I saw the most recent one that they made, and I forget. It was like where it was like police officers. I don't really like that kind of those kind of movies. It wasn't that interesting to me, so I didn't enjoy it. But to some people, it might have. The trailer kind of ruined that. A perfect example of a movie that I didn't watch a trailer for that I really enjoyed. I honestly didn't even know this movie was coming out. It was called Willy's Wonder World. I knew nothing about that movie, and then by the end of it, I was like, dude, that was amazing. Another movie, Brigsby Bear. I didn't know anything about it. My brother was like, one of my brothers was like, hey, I want you to like check this movie out. Actually, no, I think we were at his house and we were looking through movies. Yeah, no, he didn't bring it up. I just saw it. I was like, what is this? He goes, Brigsby Bear. It's pretty awesome. And I was like, what? And I watched it, and it's become a cult classic in its own right. And I like that feeling. I really enjoy that feeling. And it makes movies more powerful. Like, movies are an art. Acting is an art. I love movies. Like, I love movies. I like watching them. TV is okay sometimes. I don't really like the whole shortness of TV shows, but some of them are good. Like, I really like The Mandalorian and The Clone Wars and The Bad Batch and stuff like that. And Sleepy Hollow was a good TV show. That was a really good TV show. Stuff like that, those are good shows. Creep Show also, when they made that into a TV show. Some of the seasons were pretty good. But like I said, it just makes these moments more powerful. It makes these movies more entertaining. And I love it. I absolutely love it. I'm gonna pack a punch this guy.
This just turns the fun knob right up to 11.
Pack-a-punch camos have always been something that was pretty cool. Hopefully you guys are enjoying the gameplay. Trying to make it entertaining. But yeah, like I said, if you guys want to give it a shot, like, don't watch trailers for movies and go in excited. There's a movie, I saw the trailer. If I see a trailer when I go see a movie, like I saw a couple when I was watching Scream, I'm not gonna close my eyes or whatever. I'm just gonna kind of watch them. There's one called Evil Dead Rises, and I'm excited to watch it. Hold on. Like, I was excited to watch it. It looked fucking crazy, and I thought it would be hilarious. And I pre-ordered tickets. Like, I'm gonna go see it on the 20th. I'm so excited. I'm just gonna make fun of it. Who knows? Maybe it'll end up being good. Maybe it'll be fucking freaky. I know it's gonna be gross, but I'm okay with that. That's like a movie that I'm okay with. Already knowing it's gonna be gross. But like I said, it's just that feeling of being able to enjoy movies. Like, a lot of older movies, like, okay, for example, I'm thinking of one right now in particular. So, The Shining, okay? I was going over to my buddy's house. Actually, he's more like a brother. That's why I call him brother. It's you, Corey. I was gonna go over to Carson's house, and Dad was in the bar in the garage at the old house, and he was like, I want you to watch this movie, The Shining, because I was talking about scary movies. He goes, it's so scary. And I was like, I don't really know about it. And then I became obsessed with wanting to watch it. And then I watched it, and it was fucking amazing. And I didn't know that Stephen King, who's the author of the original book, had made a second book called Doctor Sleep. I didn't know that. I didn't know anything about that. But when I watched it, I was like, dude, hold on one second. Okay. We back? Are we back? Something I was like really excited for. I didn't know that they had made a book, but I heard that they were making a movie. It's called Doctor Sleep, and I was super excited for it. I didn't end up seeing it in theaters. I ended up watching it later. I think I was watching it on my computer. I saw it like available somewhere, and I was like, "Oh, I'm gonna give it a shot." Dude, that movie was absolutely amazing. It was like the whole first part could have been its own movie, and it was done so like you didn't know any of the characters, and I was okay with it because it was done tastefully and it was, you know, entertaining. But when it comes to movies, you know, like, so for example, okay, so you hear me sitting here saying, "Oh, it was done tastefully," right? That movie, Doctor Sleep, okay, you were just like, oh, you know, it's going to be about Danny, right? Danny's the little kid who survived the Overlook Hotel. So there isn't necessarily like a malevolent being, like one malevolent being that is like kind of the big bad of it, right? It's a bunch of ghosts, and, you know, Jack Nicholson, his dad, spoiler alert, died in that movie. So there wasn't really something like build up, right? And I didn't know anything about Doctor Sleep. So, you know, when I went to go see that, I was like, dude, this is actually pretty, you know, this whole first part, like, you know, it's gonna build up to it. And I was like, okay, this is cool. Oh God. Like, it wasn't like an established like universe with established characters, and there wasn't an expectation, right, from a lot of people, because no one knew like what to expect. They didn't. Unless, you know, maybe they read the book and they're like, oh dude, I'm excited to watch this.
I'm gonna lay my hands on
So for me, you know, it was kind of like, okay, cool, you know, it's going to be another movie based in the Shining universe. Okay, cool. So it wasn't something that bothered me. But when it comes to, like, you know, Halloween, it's based in like a universe with already predetermined characters, so it was kind of like, okay, why are we focusing on this new guy? Who the fuck is this? You know, it was kind of like that. But again, Doctor Sleep did it in a way that wasn't like hurtful to the overall enjoyment of the film, and I loved it. Like, and then the fan service at the end was done so tastefully as well. It was like, okay, like, you know, this is like something that I really wanted to see. It was like in The Force Awakens, right? Like, everybody was excited to see the Millennium Falcon and Chewbacca and Han Solo, right? That movie made them come out of fucking nowhere, right? It didn't really feel earned. They just kind of showed up. And it was kind of like, okay. You know, granted, in the moment, I was like, dude, sick. But, like, there was no build-up to it. The whole build-up to Doctor Sleep, you know, and them going back to the Overlook Hotel is one that is amazing. Like, absolutely amazing. And when they finally go to it, it's like, first of all, the Overlook Hotel looks amazing. And, you know, you go up the same travel route that they went on when they were driving up. So, like, the opening of The Shining, for example, is it's showing Jack Nicholson riding up to the Overlook Hotel to go talk to Mr. Ullman, the owner of the Overlook Hotel. And, you know, it takes you up up the mountains, and, you know, it's kind of like an aerial shot. When you end up driving, when it gets to the scene where they go up to the Overlook Hotel, they take a very similar route, and a lot of the camera angles are fucking similar, so it gives you the sense of nostalgia, and it's just, again, it's fan service, but it's done so tastefully. It's done so in a way that's like, oh my god, this is badass. And it's something that, you know, not a lot of these movies can sit there and say. not a lot of these movies, you know, do the same thing. Sometimes, like, it's just like, it's like, I know why you're doing it because you, like, you know, you want to hit that nostalgia and stuff, but you can't just, okay, like, you can't just say, oh, hey, here's this person, make them come out of nowhere and be like, hey, look, this is from this previous movie, like, it's great, right? You can't do that. I mean, you can, but no one's gonna want that. It's stupid. But that's what a lot of these movies end up doing, and it's the wrong answer. It's atrocious. It's stupid. But there are certain movies, certain gems that do it so well. Another movie that I can think of that, like, it gives you like nostalgia for. Oh, hold on, I just had it in my head. The Hobbit, Lord of the Rings, like I was saying earlier, right? A lot of people didn't really like the Hobbit, but I did. I thought it was really entertaining. I liked it. It was in Tolkien's universe. Yeah, there was, you know, some newer things, but it was done very well. It honestly looked pretty cool, and you know, seeing Bilbo's house and all that kind of stuff, and at the end when it shows Bilbo writing in the book that you see in the Fellowship of the Ring, and it even cuts off to like that part in the Fellowship of the Ring. You know, it cuts off to like that opening part with Bilbo and Frodo, and that was good nostalgia. Oh God, I almost died there. It was done very tastefully and honestly very very well done. But you know, that's kind of like my thing. On a different note, but also talking about movies, something that I also really enjoy in terms of movies is when you watch a film and it's like brand new. It's like something you don't know about, right? It's set in a universe that, you know, you've never explored, like a brand new horror film, new IP. You know, like The Power. It was set in a time period that I'm not used to watching horror movies in. And it was really, it was pretty freaky. It had some like good moments. At the end, I was like, oh shit. The Night Sitter is another one. Oh God. That's also something that I thoroughly enjoy. Just want to do that. In terms of games, you know, there are certain games where it's like you have like an expectation. For Call of Duty, right? There's an expectation for like what you're gonna get. It's a shooter. You know, you're expecting that. And sometimes they add like new features. Sometimes they like that everybody likes. Sometimes they add features that people don't like. Sometimes, you know, it's a welcomed addition. Sometimes it's kind of like, this is stupid. But it's, again, that sense of nostalgia. Right? Some people hate that word. Because it's thrown around so much. But, you know, I feel a lot of nostalgia. I have a lot of nostalgia for different things. And I like that feeling of nostalgia. I really do. I like, you know, returning, like, you know, you're in something new, watching something new, and there's that return to form. There's like that, like a familiar face, you know, or familiar sounds, you know, that it's like, oh, I know where this is going, or oh, that's fucking sick. I always wondered, you know, what this character was doing, or if he was alive during this time period, or whatever. I love that shit. Absolutely love that shit. What's up? What's up? Oh yeah. I'm at max level on this. If there's a permanent unlock, I'm permanently unlocking the Man of War. I also like, you know, when there's like a game that you really enjoyed that you can always go back to. This game, Reach. Halo 3, Halo 2, Halo CE. Oh shit! That's fucking gay. We're done. We're done with that. I really fumbled the ball in that one. Ah, 25 rounds isn't bad. After not playing for a very long time. Not bad at all. Um... Had a prestige. I don't know how to... Prestige, baby. Oh yeah. I done did it, boys. I wonder how many times I've prestiged my Xbox.
mistress of deception and
All that
trickery.
remains is your
You are more
sacrifice.
powerful than he can
Humanity
imagine.
has outstayed its welcome. The dead shall inherit.
Dude scared me. Oh shit. That was embarrassing. Let's sit right here.
We needed to get out of there before the whole building collapsed. Hendricks had an idea. Flood the lab and let the water pressure jettison us out. Our lungs could take it. He just needed time to open the door. Crazy. We got through it. We survived. Taylor's team was making their way out of Singapore. But we weren't giving up that easy. We still had a chance to catch up before the quarantine zone collapsed entirely. We couldn't make sense of what they'd done. Their motivations, their actions. There was no way to explain it. At least not yet. To figure that out, we needed them. And we also needed to get the hell out of Singapore. That was the day everything changed. That was the beginning.
I forgot this even existed. I still forget all the time.
All right, Celine. I told you how this began. Now tell me why. How do I stop Deimos if I'm dead?
Your body is dead, but your mind remains alive. I'm connected through your direct neural interface in your subconscious. To save humanity, you must open the portal. With your body gone, the only way to do this is to train your mind.
Train my mind.
Relive the events preceding your last. Only then can you alter them, change them.
This... Now this is insane.
Let me show you. Think back to when you first met Taylor. Think back to 2065. You're on a train in Switzerland.
Train go boom.
I'm heading toward downtown Zurich.
On Taylor.
That's him. Commander John Taylor. The first dead killer. The definition of determination. I was a rookie then. Fresh blood. There weren't many of us. There were more rumors about our division than actual recruits. They said we were engineered to be immune to 6115. That we couldn't get infected.
This was your first mission.
Yes. 5 years after the outbreak, most cities had at least one containment zone. But Zurich managed to stay outbreak-free. Now someone wanted to change that. Wait, this feels wrong. This can't be right. This can't be real. How are you doing this?
I am not doing anything. This is your mind. I'm the passenger, you're the pilot. But tell me, do you remember the train exploding?
No! Stop! Make it stop! Dr. Salim, what's happening? What's going on?
Quiet.
You must be calm. This is your memory, and you dictate the truth. And it can.
The raid. There was a Catardist terrorist collective. They were planning something big. But they knew